Hey everybody, it's Jenny, and I am going to share with you today how I planned this week in my memory planner. We may or may not have talked about how I have switched this memory planner from a big happy planner to a city girl planners planner. I was not happy with the paper quality in the Happy Planner, and I just couldn't continue using it as mild liners were bleeding through, and so was stamping ink, and so that was just not going to work for me. And so I switched it out to these inserts, and I have been very happy. These are also letter size, just like the big Happy Planner, and as you can see, that has vertical columns, so it's going to work pretty great for me, I think. I have printed out my photos and I am cutting them up. And actually, I am creating this layout just a couple of days after the week that it happened, so which is sort of unusual for me. So I didn't really need to write the dates on there. It all worked out okay. I wasn't completely forgetting the dates, which, that's why I normally write them on there, because it's been a couple of weeks and I sort of forget. So I am just trimming these. They're all 2x3s, and using the paper trimmer. I use the Canon Selfie to print them and the Pick Frame app. Now I am going to lay them out on the days that they were taken. That doesn't mean they'll necessarily stay there. I do try to keep them there unless it's pet photos or things like that. Obviously, if there's too many photos or if it doesn't work out, I'm happy to shift them around a little bit, but most times I find that it works out fine for them to stay on the dates that they happened. The Canon Selfie has a couple of borders on each side of the 4x6 photo. So I'm just trimming those off or pulling them off. They're perforated, and then adhering them down to the planner. As you can see right there, I've only planned a couple of weeks in this planner, and so it feels a little bit weird to not have the 3 boxes in the columns, but I also am completely realizing that that's just sheerly habit. I've been planning in a happy planner this is my 6th year, so it just feels really natural. And actually I used an Erin Condren before that, and it's got the same layout, so it just feels really natural to have those 3 boxes. So I'm just learning to work within the parameters without the boxes, so it really shouldn't be that big of a deal in the end. Now you can see that we are using the Scotch ATG gun. I have talked about this a lot. However, if you're new here, I like to use this one because the adhesive is inexpensive. It is really super sticky, and it's pretty environmentally friendly as far as adhesive goes. Now, there is a little bit of a learning curve to figuring out how to get the refills in there, and I know it's quite big, and so people think it's crazy because yes, it was originally like for framing, like picture framing, but using acid-free adhesive inside of it makes it perfectly safe for paper crafting. So I just put a couple of strips on the back just so that I don't lose these in the future. And yes, because I've been scrapbooking nearly 20 years now, I have lost things using other forms of adhesive. So this adhesive keeps it stuck nicely to the page, which is where I want it to stay. Now you can see I'm overlapping and layering the photos. This kind of does a couple of things. One, it helps the design look better. 2, it also saves me a little bit of room because sometimes there's not quite enough room if I just laid them out the way they came. I am going to be using the Cocoa Daisy denim and blush kits this week, and I absolutely loved these enormous tags, and I really would like to use them in this layout. It's a little bit different and a lot bigger than I would ordinarily tend to use things on the memory planner. I usually tend to stick to smaller things, but for whatever reason, I just was really wanting to use that tag. It's super cute and very different for me in my memory planner. So I'm going to adhere it in the lower right-hand corner, I guess just actually on the right side because, well, it's so big. It's taking up a large chunk of the page. And I'll layer it a tiny bit with the photo, so I'm going to take that off. That's one of the things about the adhesive is if you use it or if you pull it off fairly quickly, you can get it off. Otherwise, it's really not coming off. So, you got to move those things around ASAP. So we're going to adhere the photo overlapping on that tag, and then I had put the sticker up in the top right hand corner. Now I'm going to also, these sticker kits from Coco Daisy, I am using the memory, I am using the add-on, and then I am using the sticker kit, which is like a planner sticker kit. I mean, honestly, they're all for whatever you want them to be, but that's kind of how they're designated or how they're sold. So I'm just layering a few stickers to notate the activities and the events in my memory planner, which is what I do every week. I know everybody has a different philosophy, and I share mine very, very regularly. But 6 years ago when I started this planner, I wanted to, I guess it's actually 5 years ago that I started it, but this is my 6th album. The reason I started it was because we were so busy and I knew that someday I would never remember how chaotic things were. And so I wanted to add all of the activities along with my memories and my photos to really capture this time in our lives. And I know that everybody's reasoning is different, but that was how I started. And now, as things have changed a little bit, I just still find such joy in this project. And so I continue it the way that I always have, because I really do have so much fun when I'm doing that. Now I am using the mild liner. This one was actually included in the planner add-on kit, but I always use the mild liners to notate plans. It adds that little extra pop of color, and I love it. I love that I can just write directly on the page. I don't need a sticker, but it still stands out and it still is really interesting. I highlight first because if I highlighted after I wrote, it would smear the pen. This is the 1.0 of these pens, or 1.0, and the smaller tips don't smear with a highlighter. So like if you're using the 0.7, for example, it doesn't smear, but I prefer the 1.0 and it does smear because it's a lot of gel ink that's coming out. So I highlight after. However, if I left it for 2 or 3 days to dry, it doesn't smear, which is actually not the case with other pens. So these pens are fantastic. I do really enjoy them. And if you use a smaller tip, you don't have any of the bleeding or the smearing, if you will. Now I'm also going to use the alphabet stickers this week because in the memory planner, there's just a lot more room since this is a big happy planner size or a letter sheet. And it just gives me so many more options for adding decorative elements. And the thing I love about alphabet stickers is that they're as basic as they come. I mean, there's nothing usually particularly special about them, but using them here really adds something, makes things a little bit more interesting. Like, for example, when I wrote win, it just makes that a little bit more exciting. So I love using them. I think it really draws attention to whatever it is that you are using them for example, win. And I think that's cool. So now I'm just going back and adding the activities and the plans, just like I talked about. Apparently I'm going to work from right to left this week, which again is super weird. I don't usually do that, but then I guess at this point I feel like every week I do something a little bit different. So maybe I should just throw that out the window. I don't know. Anyway, so here is another sheet of alpha stickers, and I like these. They look like brush stroke, not like brush lettering like cursive, but brush lettering like just writing, handwriting, if you will. And so I'm using that to write no school. Again, I wanted to draw attention to the President's Day weekend, and that was really fun. Also using the different alphabet since it was a different font. Now moving on to the other side, I do like to remove the pages from the discs when I get started in the writing, because it just makes it so much easier to write on those 2 columns that are next to the discs. Here in this planner, that is Thursday and Friday. In other planners that have the notes on the far left side, that is Wednesday and Thursday. But I'm enjoying it nonetheless. I'm also switching up. I like to alternate between when I write, where I write directly on the page, and then where I use a sticker. I try to mainly focus on the columns. However, if I can make that match in the across as well, I will do that too. One of the other things I really love about mild liners, aside from just the ability to write directly on the page, is that there's just such a wide variety of colors. So once you purchase those, they're going to last for the life of the marker, and I can just continue to use it over and over again and choose from whichever ones that are already in my stash And I just find it to be a really fun, creative way to add a little bit more interest to my layout. Now again, you can bring back those alphabet stickers. This time I'm just writing or putting down the stickers to notate my son's work schedule. And they're not perfectly straight or anything like that, but I don't really care. That doesn't really matter that much to me. I mean, that is why a lot of the time I do stagger them to make them look a little bit more playful and fun, and then I don't have to worry about them being straight. Now, I do know several tricks to getting them straight, like using a ruler or those types of things. I just really don't care enough to do it. So I get it for other people, that works great for them. Now you can see down there in the lower left, it's a little bit difficult to see right now, but it was our dog's birthday. And so I layered the alphabet sticker with the scalloped circle sticker. You'll see it in just a second. And then wrote her birthday as well. And I just thought that turned out so cute. And I was able to notate that she was turning 2. It was also, you see all those little fun photos. I just love that. So many pet photos this week. And I always find it really just very sweet to have the pet photos in the memory planner. However, it's the same thing that I told you earlier, that some of these aren't specific. Now, the one of her eating ice cream, dog ice cream on her birthday, is specific, and I'm just going to have that be on her birthday. But other ones, just cute ones of my pets, it doesn't matter if those are on specific days, because them laying on the couch or whatever isn't necessarily a specific story, if you will. So if it was like, oh my gosh, this person came to the house to do a repair and the dog was super scared, so she jumped up on the couch. Okay, well, it might be important to have it on the day that the repair was so that it goes with the story. But in this case, the dog laying on the couch isn't specific to a story, so I can shift that around a little bit. Now you can see I'm adding different little clusters for embellishments. I have the tag on the right side, and then over here in the top left, I added the full box, the heart sticker, and then the floral. And then now in that next to the discs, I am layering, you see a full box and another sticker. So cute. Just really so many beautiful details in this kit. I'm also just going to add another little circle flower sticker as well, because it's so cute together. And it keeps it very, very simple, because as you can see, there is a lot going on this week. It's just really, really full. And with that huge tag, it really takes up a lot of the interest. So I wanted to keep the other 2 elements fairly simple because of that. Now I'm going to pull out the mat that I use. This is a magnetic self-healing mat, and then my ruler, and I am going to draw the lines for my journaling. Now, a lot of times I do use the mild liner to draw the lines recently. However, this time I'm not going to, because when I'm finished, you'll be able to see that the bottom of the journaling section would come up right next to the activity on Thursday. And so it would just sort of run together with the highlighter, and I decided I did not want to do that. So I was just going to stick to the black pen this week for my journaling lines, which is great because I still really like the way that looks. I like to stagger the edges. I think it looks more fun and playful. And then I also really like the black ink. I like the contrast that provides on the white paper. So I usually try to fill up the entire blank space. I can usually find things to talk about in the journaling, things that happened that week. And this week is no exception at all. I certainly had plenty to say. And so that's why I'm adding as many journaling lines as possible. Now at the very bottom of these pages, there are a few dashed lines as well. And so if I don't already have them automatically lined up, I try not to put the lines on top of it. I'm not going to say never, but because then you would just have double lines down there and it would look kind of weird, I think. So I try to stop there, but again, I'm not going to rule it out because who knows in the future what I might come up with to do instead. I usually do broad general journaling for my weeks. I don't usually do specific stories, though I will incorporate those in the general if it's necessary, but usually it's more over a general feeling, the ideas of the week, that type of thing. But so you can see right down here at the bottom, I might add a couple of lines of a very specific story like I did right there, but I don't do that every single week. And I don't do it where like, okay, I just have journaling inside this one box. I usually just fill up a space versus inside the lines that are there for the columns. All right, well, so that is it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.